Hey everyone, hope you guys are doing well. It's been, I think, 5 days since I've uploaded a video, which is unusual for this new channel. I thought I'd put well, I've been really busy. That's why. With Thanksgiving, a lot of family dinners, a lot of friends gatherings. I have not had time to set aside for crypto, so my machine has been running for the last week or so, untouched, which is a good thing. However, I thought I would put together Sunday series, right? Posting at least one video on Sunday just to cover a wide variety of topics that I'm interested in or things that I'm invested in, whether it's time or financially invested in regards to crypto. That way we can cover a variety of topics, and then if there's anything in particular that you guys want me to expand on or speak more of, let me know. Otherwise, the last few videos is usually how to or what's the best build, but I just want, maybe there are things that I'm engaged in that you guys might find interesting that I haven't posted yet. So for this particular one, for this first Sunday session, I want to cover a couple of topics. I want to cover the price and the mining, the hash stabilization of Raptoreum, how we've seen it stabilize in the last few days. It's somewhat reaching uh, an equilibrium for the time being, at least, right? Unless price goes up again and more people get into CPU mining, Raptoreum specifically. So we want to touch on that topic. Second topic will be iNodez security and withdrawal fees. This is very important. There's been a breach with the withdrawal, so we'll cover that second. And then third, very important for me, might not be for you guys, but re-racking. I need to re-rack my rigs inside of the tent because I've seen some inefficiencies after mining for having it run in that tent for a year now. I noticed there are certain things that I can improve upon, and an opportunity uh, presented itself on Black Friday. So I bought some equipment that I'll re-rack. We'll cover that, and then fourth topic will be CoinEx, the new exchange that we can buy Raptoreum on. On top of that, I realized that you can trade option, right? You can trade derivative, you can leverage, which is something that I've always been interested in. I've traded stock options for a bit over 10 years now. Ever since I got out of college, I started doing derivatives. I've never done derivatives for crypto, so I'll tell you guys what I've learned, and then maybe you guys can tell me if certain assumptions I'm making are incorrect, right? Hopefully you can get me on the right track. And then last but not least, I'm building a rig for my nephew with some of the all the extra computer parts I have after I took all my computers aside and built a multi 3080 rig. I have all these computer parts now, so I'm putting together a computer for him. But let's start with the Raptoreum stabilization. So let's minimize this. So I've noticed that Raptoreum has stabilized in the last few days. So if we go, let's go here. So as you can see here, um, with all my rigs, my CPU rigs, half of it goes to mine wallet, the other half goes to my cousin. The ones that goes to mine, it's stabilized around. This is every 12 hours we get a payout. It's stabilized around 60, right? Every 12 hours, I'm making about 120. And as you can see from the beginning, if you're on your Raptoreum wallet, you can go to transaction, and you can see where all of the input and output are. I know this is CPU mining. I have it to this address. You can grab this. You can put it in here, and it'll give you all of the input, right? As you can see, if we look at roughly earlier in the month, I was able to mine up to 200 every 12 hours, right? Raptoreum. I was getting rewarded about 400 a day. It went down drastically as the hash rate went up. Um, and we can see here as not only the hash rate, but let's look at the dashboard. As the price, right, for 30 days, as the price went up, the hash went down, right? Or the price went up. As the price went up, the hash went up, but the reward went down because there's more people hashing, and it's stabilized somewhat in the last 15 days, and that's definitely what we're seeing here as well. If we start looking at the 15th, right around here, the middle of the month, right up here, you can see around the 15th it started to stabilize, and we're seeing that right now. It's stabilizing, so it looks like it'll sit around here for a while. Usually the hash is a reflection of the price, right? Ideally, that's in a normal market. Price goes up, hash goes up. Price goes down, hash goes down because it becomes less profitable. Now, in reality, we know that's not always the case, right? A lot of people think it's in a vacuum where that is the case, and they've told me no, it's one is dependent on another. It's not always like that, because as you can see now, if you're, let's say, someone has some inside information on Raptoreum adoption, or they're able to get huge discount on CPUs, and they build out a huge mining facility, they can jump, the hash power can jump prior to the price jumping, right? If they know something big is coming out with Raptoreum, that can be the case. So the hash is not always reflective of the price. Sometimes the price is reflective, or it lags behind the hash. An example in real life, I've seen, if you look at acquisitions in M&A, merger and acquisitions, or joint partnership, most of the time you're going to see like a little blip. It goes up or it goes down prior to the acquisition being announced publicly, because there's always inside player, right? There's always the whales that knows it, the insider. Just like Apple's, before Apple's came out with all their big projects, starting 2008, 9, all the way to 2015, there were consultants that I knew that worked with Apple's, and they kind of knew like the big projects they were working on, right? Same with, if you think about Facebook, I'm sure they were going to talk about metaverse, or however much they were investing in it. And there's always the insiders that understands that, right? And especially when it comes to, I came from Fortune 2. My company I worked for a few years ago was I think it was like a Fortune 50 or Fortune 100. My prior company was a Fortune 5, huge company. All of the acquisitions, sometimes when we acquire a company, or when we partner up with a company, we're giving them more than 50% of the revenue, right? In cases like that, that's when the price will actually jump before the news comes out. Or in this case, you can have, if someone knows a coin is going to, there's going to be some sort of adoption, perhaps they may invest in a huge facility, or convert from, let's say, mining from Ethereum, convert it over to Raptoreum, if they know there's something big coming out with Raptoreum. And because of that, it's not, just remember, it's not always one way. Okay, don't believe that the hash is always reflective of the price, or it always follows the price, right? In an ideal world where information is fairly distributed among everyone, we believe that to be the case. But in reality, whether it's crypto or merger and acquisitions, it's usually there are insiders or whales that know more information than we do. All right, so that's Raptoreum. It's stabilized. I'm fine with it stabilizing. So right now, I mean, I'm mining 120 Raptoreum a day, 5 cents, $6 a day, 180, 2,000 a month, or sorry, 2,000 a year. I'll break even on my machine within 10 months, which was what I anticipated originally, right? So that's Raptoreum. Now, second is iNodez. If you guys have been on iNodez, you're gonna see that under Discord, there's been a breach, right? It's not iNodez itself, but it's Discord. Some people have been clicking. There's been a lot of scam, and a lot of people there's been people that send out links, and then you click it, and then they take your password. And once they have your password to Discord, they can have access to your iNodez account, right? So what Vivings have been everywhere announcing and emphasizing on for all of us is, make sure you have two-factor authentication active on Discord, okay? And or Gmail account immediately. And then also, once you turn it on, make sure, if you want to update your Discord password, and then finally double check the payout address. The payout was supposed to be today, Sunday, but they're pushing it out 2 days in the future into Tuesday, just because they notice anomalies where these withdrawal address were getting changed to whoever was hacking. So they're pausing it for 2 days. Make sure you turn it on, and the way you do that is when you're on Discord right here. All you do is go into the setting and make sure you enable two-factor authentication, and then also backup SMS backup too. So if you lose two factors, they can send you a notification. You can get the backup in your cell phone, right? So make sure you do that, guys. And finally, go back on iNodez, go to iNodez, go to Withdrawal, and make sure that your addresses are correct. So I know mine is correct. This address RWJ. I can jump over here, go to Receive, and I know from iNodez, RWJY, that's the address I want iNodez to send it to. So all of my addresses are right. So okay, so that leads to the next topic, withdrawal fees within iNodez. I do wanna test out the withdrawal fees for you guys, for myself as well. Vibing said that he doesn't charge any in addition to just what the transaction fee is, and I do believe him. But I just wanna run it through and then show it to you guys so you know how much it costs when we withdraw, right? So by doing that, I'm withdrawing 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, and 150,000. I'm pretty much withdrawing to see, and then after I withdraw, so in 2 days after I withdraw, I'll grab the transaction fee just to see as a percentage of how much I'm withdrawing, how much am I getting charged, and so after I do that, and the other reason why I'm actually withdrawing my whole balance, what I'm doing with that is, if you look at iNodez, remember from my prior video, I invested 2,800 at one point. It went up to like 20,000. Now it's 12,400. I am withdrawing the 12,000. Some of the why I'm withdrawing it. I'm withdrawing to recover my $2,800, right? My $2,800 initial investment. I'm withdrawing to pay off for the rig, 1,400 for two of my 3,900. And then I'm also withdrawing to invest. I'm gonna do a. I'm gonna play around with a server build. So I'm gonna get one of those EPYC cards. So let me see. Let me show it to you. I've been looking at it. There's one in particular that I'm very interested in, the 7401. I can get them for $223 open box directly from China. It's a test build, but I believe this one will get more hash than my current 3900 at a much better price. The only issue with this is I need a SP3 motherboard, and the motherboard for this build is around $600, right? But that's why I'm withdrawing about 1,000 just to do a test build and then show it to you guys whether or not this actually work. The reason why I'm doing this is because I went through all of the CPUs here, the listing of the CPUs, and then I mapped out based on what the hash rate was and what certain calculations. So all of these CPUs, for CPU benchmark, they went through the trouble of running them through different tests for us, right? Integral math, floating point math, prime number math, random string sorting math, data encryption, data compression. And what I noticed was the data encryption, that's the correlation between how much you hash and what the data encryption is. And based on this card particularly, if you look at this one, the data encryption is almost 41,000. Now, if you look at the build that I showed you, the 3900 build, which now you can get for 400, 500 with the cooler, the data encryption here is only 30. So the other one actually has like a, what would that be? So let's look at 12,000 divided by 28.7. The other one has about a 40% higher. It should have ideally, theoretically, based on my calculation, it should have a 40% higher hash than the 3090 build, 3900 build. The only issue with it, as I mentioned, is with that card. The only issue is I need an SP3 motherboard, right? And I don't know if it'll work or not, but I need an SP3 motherboard, which I should be able to get one around 3,000. Oh, sorry, $600, brand new, 5 to 600. So I'll take out $1,000. I'll put that built together. So this will be like a server build, but I believe it should be able to hash. Um, and we'll show that next. So that's why I'm withdrawing, and then I'm also moving a bit. So now on to, let's skip around. Let's go to the next one, CoinEx, right? So if you look at it, of my 12,400, I'm taking out my initial investment. I'm pulling out back my rig, so which means that I fully recover on my rigs no matter what happened. And then I'm going to do 1,000, 1,500 on that test rig, and then I still have 6,000. I'll move a bit of it over uh, to CoinEx to do some derivative tradings, and then the rest of it I'll put it back into iNodez. But I just wanted to withdraw in different increments to see what the withdrawal fees are. Okay. So now when we talk about iNodez, what I notice about iNodez is this exchange actually has option trading, right? So if you go under perpetual, you can move, you can transfer fees from your spot account over to your perpetual account. You can settle either under coin contracts. When you settle, it's either under Bitcoin, Ethereum, Doge, or ADA, or you can settle under USDT. So whatever you buy, it's USDT, right? And on the margins, you can pick. I'll make a separate video on this, but this was just what I learned, what I found out. You can pick 3 times, 5 times, 8 times, 10 times, up to 50 times, and then is it cross or isolated? That basically means if it's isolated, once it breaches your threshold, they'll liquidate your shares. Being isolated, if it's crossed, it means that you can have multiple contracts, and once the net of the multiple contracts goes to 0, they'll liquidate it, right? So this is kind of cool. I was trading, I put in 500 the other day, and I was moving it around, and I made $130. I don't know if I can, or 100 something dollars. I'm still fairly new at this, so I don't know where I can find my transaction. I wish I could so I can show it to you guys, but I did Shiba. So I do want to trade derivative on here for a bit. This is a bit different than what I'm used to. Of the 10 years that I've traded derivatives for stocks, usually for me, there are 3 factors that impact a price or the premium you pay for the right to buy or the right to sell for an option, right? A call or a put. And the 3 factors are time. If your contract expiry in 1 day and your friend contracts expiry in 10 days, his contract is going to be worth more than yours, all else stay the same. The reason being is because you have the time window, right? He has a longer period for the price to go up and down, whereas yours, you're restricted to 1 day, he has 10 days. So time, strike price, right? Meaning if the price is at $50 and your strike, you put your strike, let's say for your call at $51, and your friend puts it at $80, you're going to pay a higher premium because from 50 to 51 is easier, but from 50 to 80, that's way out of the money. So the premium become very minimal. So that's the second factor. There's strike price, there's time, and then the last one for me is fluctuation, right? Usually you pay a higher premium if the price fluctuates up and down constantly in the last few days. If it's something that moves a lot, especially like during earning calls, you're going to see a lot of premiums on like Teslas, on Apples, on Netflix, on Facebook, especially those tech behemoths. They're always coming out with new things, and because of that, price might go all the way up, all the way down. It's not a matured business like Walmart or Target, which still fluctuates during quarterly calls. Now this is a completely different game. I look at this and literally you got the type you can buy, you got stop market, limit, stop market, and then you got the margins, um, how much you want to leverage, but it does not have the timeline, right? It doesn't have an expiration date or a strike price, which is very, very interesting. I'm still trying to learn. I did the what I did make, I think I made like 20% return in 24 hours because I shorted Shiba. I knew that Shiba was kind of going down on a downward trend, so I shorted it and then I bought to cover. But I'll cover more on this at a later date once I learn enough about it and once I'm comfortable with this platform. Like I said, I've been trading derivatives for 10 years, but I've not traded uh, crypto derivatives, right? Crypto options. So this is fairly new to me. And the concept of not having an expiration and a strike price is kind of different for me. So I'll keep you guys posted as I learn more about that. Finally, my i3 came in, 10th generation. So I bought this. This was I took apart a bunch of computers, and one of my setup was my Omen setup. So with my Omen setup, I once I took them out, I put all of the GPU onto the rig. Uh, I have a bunch of computers left, right? I got motherboard, RAM, everything left. My nephew did take the one that helped me. I gave him the CPU for that, the i9 10000. So I'm missing a 10th generation, and it took me a while, but I found this one for $93, I believe. So I am gonna put this. I rebuilt with what I had left. I rebuilt a computer. I'm gonna put this. This was the final component. I'll put the CPU in, and then I'll give it to my godson, which he'll use it for school. Yeah, so he'll just use that computer for school, and hopefully there's enough computing power in case he does want to play Fortnite. He's really young. He's like 10, 11 years old. He has some little brothers still. So if they ever want to play Fortnite, hopefully it has enough. And shoot, finally, last but not least, so this one's extremely important to me, re-racking. Okay, so let's close this. I am running into an issue. My current setup, which I've had this setup for about a year now. I've moved stuff around here and there, but overall, there's two issues I'm having right here. So as you can see, I have two intake valve with inline 6-inch inline fans that blows constantly. Cold air, Minnesota air. It's like 30-some degrees outside, but at night it's 10, 15 degrees Fahrenheit. It blows in cold air into here and cool down my most these are my most important cards. This rig right here makes $55 a day for me, just this rack alone. So that's my biggest one. But it blows in cold air, and then back here, there's two, one up here and one here that sucks out the hot air back outside, so it constantly recycles. If you're setting up a rig, I'll make a more in-depth video on this setup, particularly if you have like a 110 grow tent setup. But the two issues right here is if you zoom in, I have these thermostat that checks the temp. As you can see, this is a 6 feet um, grow tent, so this would be 5 and this would be 1, right? The difference between these 4 feet in terms of temperature, this is 93 degrees Fahrenheit. And down here, it's 82 degrees Fahrenheit because, as you know, hot temperature goes up, right? So the issue I'm having here is because hot temperature goes up, I have up here, I have 4 computers up here in their tower setup because they're CPU and GPU mining, but they're sucking in 93 degrees temperature. So what I need to do is get the rack so I can more utilize the low space down here, and then have at most, I'd say like up here to around 4 feet. That's the last rack I'll have, and up on the 5 and 5 feet, I'll just have it air sucking out all the hot air. I don't want to put any more computers up here. It's too hot for the computers. As you can see, there's a 10 degrees difference. So from the very top to the very bottom, I'm assuming there can be like a 15 degrees, especially with the way my air is currently flowing, right? So that's number one. The number two issues, as you can see here, is when I bought this rack, I didn't know I bought it for $60 to $70. This is a metal rack with the wooden, like compressed wood right here, compressed recycled wood. So the issue I have here is the hot airs get trapped. So this hot air, when it goes up, it actually disperses to the side. It doesn't go through, right? So that's my issue. It doesn't go through. I need something that allows the air to flow directly up so that it gets sucked out quicker, so the airflow moves through more quickly. So what I came across was these racks right here. They've been selling for $66, but on Black Friday they were going for 48 before tax. So I got two of them. After tax for only 103. So they're coming today before 10 p.m. And then once they come, I'll set them up. So with this one particularly, I have two of them. So the setup, I have the length is the same, or sorry, the height is the same. The height is 72 inches, which is 6 feet, just like my current setup. And then the length, so from side to side right here, it's 36, which is exactly the same as my current length. The width is 14, which is a bit shorter. The one I currently have right now, this one. So this one is 16. So this is the width right here, right? The length is the long length. It's 36. The height is the same, but this width is 16. And this one, however, the one that I'm buying is only is only 14, so it's a bit shorter. But what I'm doing is I'm buying 2 of them, so I'm going to stack them back to back, increasing that to 28 inches. And then I'm also going to, this is adjustable, so I'm going to re-rack it. So I'm going to bring down, basically I'm going to double stack these 4 with these 4 GPU CPU rigs with these 4 CPU rig. I'll just double stack them around this layer so that it so there's more space. And then I'll also lower it a bit to bring it closer down to the bottom too. But I'm really excited about that. On top of all of that, I have more flexibility in my arrangement now, because I have more flexibility because I no longer need a monitor or the mouse, because all of these computers I've been able to link to it remotely using Windows 10 Pro. I have videos for those as well. If you scroll through to the bottom, the how-to, I'm able to remotely control. I'll just show you. So I can remotely control all of my rigs. Right here I have it under, so if I open up my documents, I have it under remote, and then I name all of them here. So I'll just click one for you to see. So for instance, this one where it's CPU and GPU mining, I can just double click it. And then I locked in, and as you can see, this is the CPU mining Raptoreum, and the GPU up here mining Ethereum, right? So that's the setup. I can remote control, which means I don't need the USB for the mouse. I don't need the HDMI. It's going to allow me to have much more flexibilities in terms of arrangement. One thing you have to remember when you set this up is before you plug it out, just so it isn't a hassle, go into your internet setting. Right, so go into your internet setting property and have it on automatically connect. That way, when the computer restarts, it automatically connects to the internet. So as long as you're in the same network, I can connect to that computer using remote desktop protocol, right? RDP, Microsoft RDP. So that's one thing you got to be mindful of before you like unplug all of your monitors. But that's the plan, guys. So I'm going to re-rack. This is going to be, it shouldn't be too hard of a project, but it will be a very crucial project for me because, as I said, it will lower, by lowering all of my machines down to a lower level, it won't absorb as much heat. It won't have to operate at such high temperature. On top of that, with this particular metal rack, there are holes in between, as you can see right here. So the air should just hopefully just flow straight through, suck it out. Airflow is extremely important when you set up your rig. Yeah, that's all I have. This was a really long video, but as I said, I'm going to be putting together these Sunday sessions. I'll try to put one out Sunday morning. Um, yeah, I'll put one out Sunday morning before I run to church. So if you guys have any questions, any concern, please drop it down below. If you like it, let me know. If there's anything you guys want me to expand on, any topic I covered today that you guys want me to make a more in-depth video on, please let me know. Next week I won't be around. I'm actually going on a silence retreat. So I'm going on a retreat where no electronic, no talking for 5 days. So it'll be a silent retreat to reset mentally. So I won't be around, guys. But I'll try to make more videos when I come back. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Take it easy.